He makes her bid for a little piece of history.
Hello and welcome to the Run of the Race. It's a pleasure to have your company for our third edition, where we'll be talking all things that happened on Derby Day on Saturday. And Mark, from a Perth racing perspective, you must have been delighted to see everyone out here in their black and white.
Yes, 3 times the crowd that we normally expect for a Victoria Derby Day at Ascot. So a really, really good crowd. The weather was great. I think the weather's going to be okay on Melbourne Cup Day too, and hopefully we get good weather for the rest of the carnival.
Let's hope so. And on the track, well, it was a great day of racing.
Certainly was, highlighted by the performance of Galaxy Star in the Asian Bow Stakes. That horse now is ballot exempt from the 2 big Group 1s that she'd be targeting, and boy, she was impressive.
My personal favourite win was the one of Dainty Tess. Oh, that mighty mare, she just keeps doing the impossible. Let's have a look at the meeting that was. We'll start with race number 1. It was a race for the 2-year-olds, taken out by Specialism.
That leads the way. The favourite running second, 10 Snip. Down on the inside then, Mia Dolce. Noble Impact going up there next of all with a length and a half. Hardly quite cruising along, looking for a bit more rain on the outside of Prim and Proper. Second from last is Kissed by Friar, and dropping out towards the rear is Princess Lily Tess. Into the straight at the 300. Specialism on debut, leads for home over 10 Snip. Mia Dolce down on the inside, being followed by Noble Impact. Hardly Quite's runs come to an end. Further back is Prim and Proper. Specialism's the leader though, with 100 left to go. It's Specialism in front from Mia Dolce, 10 Snip, and a debut win for Specialism. Specialism has scored.
There it was, Specialism winning the opener from an outside gate. Craig Stables just said go to the front in typical Paul Jordan jump and run fashion, and interestingly enough, it was the husband and wife team in Craig and Lisa Stables that quinelled the race.
They certainly did, and I think they're two of the horses that we're going to look at here in the numbers. The Forgive horse was Lisa's horse, I think, in Mia Dolce. Was pretty keen, over-raced on debut, beat some experienced rivals as well, the likes of Prim and Proper and Tin Snip. So pretty good performance there. The Forget horse is Princess Lily Tess. Poor Trials was behind Mia Dolce in both of her trials, and then a poor race result as well, I think, penned through her. The Follow horse, found it a little bit hard to find one here, but I'm going to go with the winner here, Specialism. Did it tough on speed and comes from that great family as well of winners. Claire Castle, the dam, has had 5 runners on the racetrack. All of them have won races.
Well, I wouldn't mind having a horse out of her, that's for sure. Definitely had a lot of success, and great to see the first winner for first season sire, Safeguard. He's already making quite an impression, has had a number of 2-year-olds on the track, including Miss West Coast, who was so exciting in the initial plate, just finishing second, but looks a horse of the future. So very good to see Safeguard getting a win on the board there. The second race was taken out by Lord Greystoke, winning all the way.
In company with Festival Miss. 550 left to go, and Lord Greystoke strode away for Chrissy Parnham, and led by about 3.5 the Pen Wacken Tanker. Dear Kelder's coming around their heels well before the corner. Further back, Magic Planet, then My Fair Lady on the rails, and towards the tail is Festival Miss. But as they'd straighten for home, and Lord Greystoke opening up and led by about 3 on the filly, Dear Kelder, the Pen Wacken Tanker. Festival Miss being called upon over on the extreme outside, and back towards the rail is My Lady Fair. Lord Greystoke's in front, still a length and a half, Dear Kelder. Here comes Festival Miss though. Festival Miss coming at Lord Greystoke. They split the line, Lord Greystoke.
Lord Greystoke fighting off a fast finishing Festival Miss there. How did you see this race, Mark?
Look, I think the Forgive horse is probably Dear Calder. Second run for Simon Miller was wide all of the way. Finished third, thought it was a reasonable performance. The Forget horse is Wacken Tanker. Look, he still hasn't broken his maiden, probably will do eventually. His form is certainly good enough to merit winning a race, but probably not on a Saturday, and that's what the focus of these programmes are. I think the Follow horse is clearly Festival Miss here. Fastest sectionals all the way home, wasn't run to suit. They didn't go particularly hard in this race, slower than benchmark to the 600. She was far and away the fastest finisher, one to follow.
She was definitely finishing off very quickly. Luckily enough for Lord Greystoke, just wasn't quite able to get there in time. The next race, well, this was a bit of an unknown going into this. Siani, a Moonee Valley winner. You know the horse had ability, but first up, without a trial, we were a bit unsure, but she was able to get the job done.
On the fence, running fourth, the Celt, inside of the mare, Siani. And the last couple were Mrs. Brown's Boy, who's over on the outside of the grey Candlelight Star. Oliver's Travels doing it well within himself, nearing the corner. And they haven't done a tap, really, at the 400 mark. Coming into the bend, Oliver's Travels. He should have a sprint. From on the outside, Minus looks and called upon Masquerade. Here comes Siani, starting to wind up down the extreme outside. Back on the fence is the Celt. Minus looks and grabbed the lead. Siani quickly ranged up, though, with 150 left to travel. It's Siani hanging on the outside of Minus, looks fighting it out. Siani gets ahead in front. Candlelight Star finishing strongly from the back, but Siani makes a winning.
A really good ride by Lucy Warwick there. She switched the whip into her left when she started to feel Siani lay in, and it managed just to straighten the horse up and ultimately be able to get the job done. Mark, who makes your Forgiven follow in this?
The Forgive for me is Candlelight Star. It was coming off that run up at Geraldton behind Barracky Beach. You wouldn't have thought that was the strongest form here, but the slow tempo certainly didn't help Candlelight Star. Was very good late, as he tends to be. I think can win a race certainly for Adam Durant. The Forget horse, certainly not one of William Pike's favourite. This Masquerade finished sixth, just not that good, I don't think. I think we've overrated him. I don't think Pikey had. I think he rode the horse the best he possibly could on Saturday. The Follow horse, I did struggle here a little bit. I do think Siane will be interesting to see where they go next with her, but it was a very slowly run race. I'm not getting carried away with the performance just yet. She needs to do it off a faster tempo as well.
Well, I guess the other thing with Siani is that she's so good fresh, and that's why Lindsay Smith opted to go first up, no trial. Will she be able to back it up second up? They'll be hoping so. She's a horse that does have her issues, but hopefully if Lindsay's on top of them, we can see a repeat performance as she heads towards those fillies and mares races. Another horse that was first up and heading also in that same direction was Pearls and Prawns, taking out the fourth.
Terps is last. Pinball Wizard, though, led them by the 600. A length over the grey. DeAndy's fine scent, ridden along over on the outside, 3 deep. Distant Trilogy's travelled up well down on the fence, coming to the home corner with 400 left to travel. Pearls and Prawns is now being brought to the outside, getting around Flower of Scotland under the whip, being followed then by Sweet Dreamer. And at the head of the others, Sally's Realm, but it's Pinball Wizard at the 252 in front. Pearls and Prawns is starting to cut them down very quickly from Distant Trilogy. Sally's Realm at the 100. Pearls and Prawns ranges up, grabs the lead. Distant Trilogy trying to go with it. Down on the inside, Sally's Realm, but Pearls and Prawns too strong first up.
Great to see Julian Cockatagelo winning his first race at Ascot there. Mark, who makes the files in this race?
Close your ears, Brittany. We're going to talk about your horse here. Forgive horse is Spiller and Over. Drew a horrible gate, had to go back against his usual pattern. Still found himself pretty wide, but the sectionals late were very, very good for Spillanova. A little bit easier, a little bit softer draw, will be winning next start, you'd think. Forget horse Nicotrice finished last in this race, did win the regional race here 12 months ago, but just simply not in that type of form anymore. The Follow horse, a few caveats here, but I'm going to go with Pearls and Prawns. I think the best thing about this horse is that she's adaptable. She can rise on the speed, she can take a little bit of a sit. The format of it looks all right. The times are okay, certainly around the class benchmarks as well. And it's that adaptability that makes her so useful, I think.
Really looking forward to seeing Pearls and Prawns as she progresses towards the Fillies and Mares series, see how she stacks up against some of the other talented types. We'll take a break here, and on the other side of this, we'll review the final 4 races, including the 2 features from Saturday. Welcome back to the run of the race, where we are halfway through reviewing the meeting on Saturday. Let's jump straight in and take a look at race number 5 that was taken out by Frio.
The 600, where the leader is Foreseen, and getting a pretty good time of it in front here for Turner. 3/4 clear of Diablerie. A length and a half to Tycoon Target. Royal Command worked on here by Pike coming into the bend. Mad Brad's been off the track all of the way. Away from the fence now, Resistance, and then this away. Followed by Frio, Purist and Ocean Jewel. Foreseen led them for home at the 300. Snuck a length and a half in front. Mad Brad. Here comes Frio down the outside though with a good run. It's Frio down the middle of the track, ranging up, bursting to the lead. At the 100-metre mark, it's Frio racing away. Resistance, Royal Command, Mad Brad fighting out the minor spoils. But this is absolutely waltzed in, Frio.
Waltzed in indeed. He convincingly beat the well-supported Royal Command, and he just blitzed them, Mark.
Certainly was. I thought it was probably the outstanding performance of the day, certainly when you look at class benchmarks. I think the Forgive horse here has to be Royal Command. Was very close to what was a very hot speed. They went 7.5 lengths faster than the benchmark to the 600, and Royal Command was only 2 lengths off that was against The normal pattern for that horse, second up without a trial. I think Royal Command, don't give up on this horse just yet. Do give up, however, on Ocean Jewel. She's just simply not going well enough and hasn't been going well enough for quite some time now. The follow horse, the easiest follow horse of the day, Freo. Massive win, won by almost 4 lengths. The numbers stacked up as well.
So good to see too, because we know that Freo is such a difficult horse. He goes straight to the barriers, and well done to the team and the job that they've done with this horse, because they deserve a victory when you get a difficult horse like that, and hopefully there's many more in store. The next race is the first of our features, and it was taken out by Galaxy Star.
Left to go in the Asian Bow, and it's Wrinkly attempting to do it all of the way. 1.5 lengths over War God Disposition. Around the outside, Red Aura makes his move, followed by Galaxy Star. Then it's him in action. Last of all, coming into the corner, Carberry hasn't moved yet on Wrinkly. Wrinkly at the top of the straight, 2 in front, War God, Red Aura, Disposition down on the rail. Galaxy Star, Pike sitting there as quiet as a church mouse. Action's 2 lengths behind him. Now he goes to work, he releases the brakes, and now ranging to the lead, Galaxy Star. She put pay to them. Action runs on, but it's all over bar. The shouting, the favourite's going to run right away and goes on to clinch a spot in the railway.
Well, we spoke last week, Mark, about how important it was for her to win this race, to get her spot into the railway, and she didn't disappoint.
She certainly did. She's now ballot exempt for those 2 big Group 1s. A horse that's probably going to them as well is Action, if he can get into the final fields. I thought he was the Forgive horse on Saturday. Did absolutely nothing wrong. Ran a pretty good benchmark overall of -8.1. Even to the class, it was -3.1. I think this is your Perth Cup favourite for mine, Action. I think he'll be very hard to beat if he gets that far. The Forget horse, there's plenty in this race. You could probably put a pen through. I'm going to pick on Red Aura here. Finished 7th and was the only horse not to beat the class benchmark. And the follow horse, pretty obvious, Galaxy Star. She ran -10.2 overall benchmark. Just to put out in some kind of context, great shot, won the Railway Stakes last year, -11.1. So not far off a Railway Stakes winning performance by Galaxy Star.
It's pretty clear to see why she is your railway favourite currently. Interestingly, Willie Pike did say, we all thought about with the blinkers going on, would it sharpen her up? He didn't feel like it made all that much difference to her. I can't imagine that they'd be taking them off. You don't want to change if it's not broke, don't fix it. So I don't think they'll be taking them off. But interesting that it probably didn't sharpen her as much as he thought. She's just a really talented horse.
I thought she went to the line pretty much with a couple more lengths in her as well. She certainly could have run a couple of lengths faster. -12 would have been blowing people's minds.
Well, he barely even touched her to the 150, so imagine when she is really asked for an effort. She's an exciting horse going forward, that's for sure. Another horse that was very exciting on the day, Dainty Tess, taking out the Prince of Wales.
They start to string out at the 550. The pace is really on. Down on the inside, the leader, Super Maxi. The 3-year-old sitting right outside of him, Agent Pippa. Saracino getting off her heels. Kai Perinya 4 deep coming into the turn. Behind them, Celebrity Dream. State Solicitors down on the rail, close handy. Being followed by Durandal, Kai Perinya. Dainty Tess about 6 lengths from the leaders. The 3-year-old comes after the leader at the 200. Over on the inside, Super Maxi, Agent Pippa. Here comes Dainty Tess with her run down the extreme outside. She's finishing brilliantly. Also Lockroy, but Dainty Tess, she's got wings and she cuts them down. It's another.
Almost gives you goosebumps, a performance like that from Dainty Tess. So we're becoming very familiar with seeing her flash home in the way that she did. Darren McCauley called it, she just grew wings. And that's just how she wins them, Mark.
She certainly does. I thought she was excellent on Saturday, a worthy favourite. I think the Forgive horse here was Celebrity Dream. Probably wasn't the greatest of William Pike's rides. You know, we forgive him. He's an absolute superstar. But Celebrity Dream 5th on Saturday. I think he's capable of a little bit better than that. Also, I think we've got to forget is Kai Perinya. She's now made it into the Forget file twice. I think there's a few in this race you could certainly put a pen through. She has just simply got to go from your punting portfolios. And then the follow horse. Bit difficult this. I didn't really want to put Dainty Tess in there. I do think she'll go towards the Colonel Reeds over the 1100 metres and be very, very hard to beat. So follow her in that, but I'm not at all keen on it over 1200 metres in the Winterbottom.
All right, Mark, following her next start and then jumping off, heading into the Winterbottom. We'll see how she performs in that Colonel Reeves if she does head there, which I do think is the plan. Now, we've just referenced Pike there, but in the last race, wow, Let's take a look at him somehow lifting Mississippi Delta to victory.
Just behind the speed, outside of it, Bollywood Blitz covering extra ground, but they haven't gone that hard. A length and a half away then to Bold Success, Ragazzo Doro. Around the outside, there goes Woodsville being followed by Double Digit and Ravelli about 6 from the leader. Rock on Tommy's about to be popped. The big question here at the top of the home straight from a Night of Pro. They've kicked away. They brush together Rock on Tommy and Night of Pro. They're going head and head. About 4 lengths, Bollywood Blitz, Mississippi Delta, Red Publisher. A Night of Pro reaches the lead from Rock on Tommy. At the 100, a Night of Pro, 3/4 in front, Mississippi Delta. It's getting out of the ground, flying, going 3 to their 1. It swamps the Mississippi Delta.
I'm still not quite sure how Mississippi Delta won that race. When you watch the replay, you just see this horse. It's losing ground. It looks absolutely gone on the corner, off the bit, and somehow Pike just manages to lift her when it counts.
It's Pike in the last in Perth, so it's really simple. Pike in the last. It's not only in Australia, it's all around the world. He gets people out of jail all of the time. A horse that didn't get out of jail on Saturday for the second run in a row was Reveille. Was slow away, found itself a little bit further back. Fastest last 200 metres, willing to forgive Reveille. I am going to forget Rock on Tommy here, feel really bad about this, but he's not a 1600 metre horse for mine. They didn't go particularly hard. He came home with the slowest last 200 metres. Over 1400 metres, quite keen on him, but not at the 1600 in a decent race. The follow horse, we've already touched upon it. Mississippi Delta was in the follow file in a previous edition, kicking myself. I didn't have her on top on Saturday, but I was hoping they were going to go up in trip from the 16 to the 18, maybe to the 2000. She looks like a Perth Cup horse for mine.
All right, Mississippi Delta making it into Mark's follow file for a second time. So hopefully you'll learn from your mistakes, and when they're in the follow file, you have to keep them on top. Now, what about the best overall performances from the day on Saturday?
I don't think there's any shock in saying that the best overall performance was Galaxy Star. Minus 10.2 overall. We've already touched upon that. That is a group level performance, and was certainly well above the Group 3 benchmark. Minus 5.2 above that. Very worthy contender for the Railway Stakes. I think the price is a little bit too short at the moment. We certainly want to see the final fill, but she will be a major player in that Group 1. The best class rating of the day, easily Freo. This horse in a 66 plus ran minus 6.6, so the class, that's minus 6.7. If they find the right race and he behaves himself, which is obviously the issue with this horse, he will be winning again. And then going through the fastest closing sectionals, well, we got Dainty Test in the 200 for 11.1 seconds. The 400 was Dainty as well, 21.96. And a mention here for Profit Street, 33.38 for the last 600 metres. That was his best run for a little while.
No real surprises there to see Dainty Test with the fastest last 200 and 400. So all those fastest closing sectionals coming out of the Prince of Wales. We will take a break now, and on the other side we'll be looking at the Tipstar competition winner for this week.
Think all betting companies hold their profits? Not Tab Touch. Not only do we give you a better betting experience on your mic, but out here, a portion of every bet funds a better racing industry. Helps better your race club. Come on! Oh! And helps better local sport. Hey guys! So better your bet with Tab Touch. Don't let the game play you. Stay in control. Gamble responsibly.
Welcome back to the run of the race, and it's an exciting time of the program because it's when we find out who was this week's Tipstar of the week. And this week, Mark, probably the overall score wasn't as big as we've seen in previous weeks.
Certainly wasn't. Best possible score was 1,708, but you didn't have to have all 8 winners. Race number 7, won by Dainty Test. A better result in the tipping competition was going with Profit Street to place at the $6.70.
$6.70 for Profit Street for a place. It actually got out to quite a big price. Let's have a look if our winner this week had Profit Street, and yes, indeed, he did have Profit Street there, so he got the place there, but Lord Greystoke, he had as his best bet of the day.
Yeah, he spoke to the winner here, Michael E.P, on Saturday night, and he said the reason why he had Lord Greystoke on top was because he'd listened to the podcast produced by Ryan Hill and the Parnham brothers, where Chris Parnham said this horse had been gelded. The notification came through pretty late from the stewards, but Michael was pretty keen on backing this horse once he'd seen it had that operation and thought, what the hell, let's put the big bet on it, and it paid $13.20 for the win and $5.60 for the place.
It goes to show it pays to listen and watch all shows about WA racing, because sometimes it can just give you a little leg up into a winner. Let's see where that leaves Michael on the standings, and he's under the alias All on Black, so No surprises to guess what he's going to do with the winning money.
Well, unfortunately, he has won a Crown Perth voucher worth $500, but he can't use it on the gaming floor. So you'll have to go to one of the restaurants, Michael, rather than putting it all on black in the gaming floor. But you've risen up to second in the standings here, still a long way behind the leader, BJF77, who was our winner last week.
So that is the standings after 3 rounds. By the time we speak to you next, we will have had 2 rounds, both Melbourne Cup Day and this Saturday. And this Saturday, well, looks to be a great day of racing, Mark.
Yeah, we've got 3 feature races. It's really starting to warm up now, the Ascot Racing Carnival. 2 at listed level and 1 at Group 2.
Let's have a look at the Ascot Gold Cup. It's a special race to me. I was born on this day 24 years ago when Dad was able to win it. Let's take a look at some more recent editions of the Ascot Gold Cup.
Together 2 lengths. Drive West starting to pick up pretty well. Further back, Rebel Sun. Young Lionel tackled by Drive West. Drive West storms past Young Lionel. Then Rebel Sun running to third, but Drive West draws away. Drive West won the Ascot Gold Cup from Young Lionel. Third, Rebel Sun racing to Drive. Damajo in front, but here comes Tonto. He's starting to warm up now, Tonto. At the 100, but Damajo, Tonto levelled up. They come away. Tonto the outside. What a day for Amelia Park. Tonto beat Damajo and Dark Alert third. Shintamani, Gadding gets to him, joins in. Gadding coming at Dark Alert with 100 left to go. Pike draws the whip now. It's Gadding, he hits the front in the closing stages. And another one for the Wizard. He's very hard to beat. He's done it.
Gadding winning the most recent edition there of the Ascot Gold Cup, Mark.
Yes, certainly. This is probably the first race of the Ascot Racing Carnival for those horses targeting the Perth Cup on the 5th of January over the 2,400 metres. And as you mentioned, Gatting was a good winner last year.
The next feature race on Saturday will be the Faritha Stakes. It's for the 3-year-old colts and geldings. Let's have a look at the last 3 editions.
London Line, Man Booker, Universal Law for the moment, struggling, 150 to go. London Line raced up, grabbed the lead from Who Dat Singer, Man Booker. On the inside, London Line from Man Booker, London Line holding on, London Line. London Line beat Man Booker, a stable development. Ragazzo Doro getting up on the inside, get over it, down the outside. Soul Special is starting to run on powerfully at the 100. Soul Special coming at La Saha. Humanity fighting back tooth and nail on the inside. On the outside, the favourite Soul Special reaches the lead though in the shadows. And he got there in the last stride, Soul Special. Sterling, Vital Dancer, Rakanar Star, Devilay Show, and here comes Money Maher letting down. It's Money Maher ranging up with 100 left to go. Sprints over the top of Akanar Star, then Rekovic coming again, but Money Maher.
London Line, Soul Special and Money Maher in the last 3 editions of this race. But what's the odd one out there, Mark?
Money Maher's the odd one out because he's still here. The other 2 ended up in Hong Kong. I think they race under different names up there. So great racing jurisdiction, but if you don't like hot, steamy weather, don't win this race.
Because that's where you could very well end up. It's a testament, I guess, for the race.
It certainly is.
That's where they end up. All right, the other race feature event on Saturday is the Lestier, and another ballot exemption up for grabs here.
Certainly, if you win this race, you are ballot exempt from the Railway Stakes. Let's have a look at the last 3 winners.
a bandana at the 200, tackled by Delicacy and Blackheart Bart. It's Delicacy going to the lead. Blackheart Bart gunning her down. Blackheart Bart reaches the lead from Delicacy. Magnificio, Blackheart Bart. Blackheart Bart has won another feature over Magnificio. Disposition running on, further back Tradesman, Perfect Reflection as well. Disposition hit the lead at the 150. Perfect Reflection is trying to run him down. She's coming quickly. Perfect Reflection went to Disposition on the outside Tradesman, but she's back today. Perfect Reflection won it. Perfect Reflection home in the Listia beat Tradesman. Goes to work now on the hot top Scales of Justice. He ranges alongside of Great Shot. 2 lengths away, Salubrious and Silverstream starting to run on. It's Scales of Justice fighting back. Great Shot though. Great Shot, Scales of Justice, and now Silverstream. She's closing in. Silverstream on the outside, diving, and Great Shot. Did she get there, mate?
The Cerise and White taking out the last 2 editions of the Listia, and Bob Peters will be hoping to do all that again this weekend. And this weekend as a whole, the big 3 features, it makes for a real cracking day of racing.
Certainly does. Bob will have a good chance, you'd think, in the Listia with Perfect Jill that won the Guineas last year. And talking of the Guineas, the Fair Reetha Stakes for mine is the highlight on Saturday, not because of its status, it's a listed race as opposed to Group 2, but we want to see those colts and geldings and get a bit of a guide towards that Guineas in a couple of weeks' time.
Just such a talented group of 3-year-olds this year as well. It's definitely a day not to be missed when you think about 3 features. You know you're getting close to carnival time. All the action kicks off at 12:54 with race 1 starting. Last race will be at 5:30. So definitely a day to get out to. Now, if you have any questions about the ratings, the numbers, anything that's been mentioned in today's program, I'm sure, Mark, you'll be more than happy to answer them if they leave them in the comments.
Yeah, we post the video on a number of channels, YouTube and on Facebook, and we do tweet some stuff as well. So you can get onto social media, give us some feedback about the show, and if you've got any questions about those ratings, Britt, we'll sure enough answer them.
Perfect. Make sure you get your questions in if you need anything clarifying with that. We hope you've enjoyed today's program. Bye for now.
She makes her bid for a little piece of history.